Teaching a drop on cue. In this video, I am going to show you how you can teach your dog to drop something out of their mouth when asked. As you can see here, when I start teaching Cody what the word drop means, he has nothing in his mouth.
Drop.
Note how I point out the bits of food on the floor to him using my hand. This is a very useful step because it gets the dog used to your hand coming down towards the item they have dropped, as this may be an item you do not want your dog to have and may need to remove. Another key step to ensure that you get right is the order in which you say the word drop and present the food. Note here how I make sure I say the word drop first, and only then do I throw the food on the floor. This is a very important step.
Drop.
I also practice this while sitting down.
Drop. Okay. Drop. Good boy.
I also practice teaching Cody to be comfortable with me being around him while he eats the food that I have dropped on the floor.
Drop.
I would recommend you practice this in lots of different situations. Here I practice while removing my coat.
Drop.
While pushing a shopping cart. Carrying boxes.
Good boy. Look. What's that?
I'm sure you're starting to get the picture.
Good boy.
Also, remember to vary the position from which you give the cue. For example, here I lie on the floor. Previously I've sat on a chair and been standing. I would also suggest you practice while your dog is lying on their bed. Notice that my dog still has not got anything in his mouth. However, I continue to practice around lots and lots of different situations. If you have built a solid foundation with your dog or your puppy, you should find that as soon as you say the word drop, they start to orient towards the floor, looking for the treat before you've even dropped them. This tells you that you are ready to move on to the next step. If your dog is now at this stage, you can start to train around an object. I would start with an object that your dog is not going to get too excited by or try to mouth at the first instance. Here I practice with a rider's hat. I ask Cody to drop as soon as he looks towards it. I would then move on to start practicing with a toy. I would use one which is not going to get your dog too excited to start off with, and then gradually increase the difficulty so you're working with toys that are more and more exciting. Would still drop the food a second after saying the word drop, regardless of your dog's behaviour. This will ensure that you develop a strong association between saying the word drop and your dog spitting out the item in their mouth, regardless of what or how exciting it is.
Drop. Drop. What's that?
This is where the practicing of using your hand to show the dog where you've dropped the treats comes into play. You can now remove the toy without drawing too much attention to it. However, at the start of the training, I will not always remove the toy. Sometimes I'll allow the dog to continue playing with it. To keep practicing, making the situation more and more difficult, I am now using a squeaky rubber toy which Cody loves a lot. The same principle works with tug toys. Not continue tugging on the toy once you have said the word drop.
Take it. Drop. What's that? Oh, clever. Good boy. Drop.
Sometimes you may get carried away. Here, I make the game far too exciting for Cody and then ask him to drop. He has not practiced much in this situation and so does not want to leave the toy. Watch how I persevere and make the chicken more interesting than the tug toy. I pay no attention to the toy and pay lots of attention to the chicken. I start to teach him that the chicken is far more fun and I have no interest in taking the toy away from him. I then continue to practice. However, for the next few repetitions, I ask Cody to drop before he gets too excited. By doing this, I ensure that I set Cody up to succeed. He learns that when he hears the word drop, the tug toy is no longer fun. You can also use a toy along with or instead of treats.
Take it. Drop.
Once your dog has developed a strong association, you can then use a continuation of the game as a reward for dropping. If it's safe to do so, you can allow them to pick up the item that they just dropped.
Drop. Good boy. Take it. Yay, good boy. Take it. Drop. Yay, clever. Go get it. Good boy. Ready, ready, ready. Go.
As demonstrated here, your training should gradually allow you to build up to being able to ask your dog to drop even a piece of food, such as a hot dog.
Drop. Yes.
Or a piece of food even when they are chewing on it. Remember to practice all of this outside as well as indoors.
Good boy.